Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio. Super excited about our next guest. When I got the email from the publicist and I saw there was going to be new music by this amazing musician, I had to immediately, and he can ask John, I immediately emailed, like, is he doing interviews? And so here we are. Bumblefoot, how are you?
Good, man. Very good.
Oh, man.
Happy 2025.
I know. Here we are, 2025. Badass new music that you have. And I want to tell you right off the bat what I love most about it is two things. One is listening to every song. It's not like listening to the same song over and over again. They're all different, blending different genres, and I dig that because, like, I'm a metalhead, but people think outside the metal world that we only listen to metal.
No, metalheads are the most diverse and intelligent and everything. No, fuck no.
Right? No doubt, no doubt. And then here's the other thing I love. Okay, so you are a shredder that doesn't sound like a shredder. And let me define that. That goes along with the same song over and over again. You see, there's a lot of shredders out there that they just play the same shred over and over and over again. And it's really good. And I hope it's really good if you're playing it over and over again. But when I listen to you on guitar, I'm like, yeah, it's a really good thing I quit playing guitar and realized I suck. Because this guy, man, like, he could do things I would never even be able to think of doing on the guitar. Like, it's amazing. Even with, like, let's talk about your fretless guitar playing.
This thing, yes. Let's talk about it.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you very much. So there's this company from France, Vigier, Vigier. They were around from 1980 till last year. Patrice, the head of the company, has decided to stop making guitars, which is a shame because he makes wonderful, wonderful guitars. And I've been playing them for 28 years now. I just love what they do, what they make. You play better when you play on their necks. They just feel really good on the hands. And they made these metal neck fretless guitars. And I remember we started working together in 97. And 1998, we went to the NAMM show, the big music convention together.
Yeah.
And I saw these, they didn't have double necks or anything. This was our own creation, this thing. They just had fretless, and I saw it. And I was like, why didn't you tell me you made these? Holy shit, look at this thing. And I still laugh thinking about the look on his face. He just looks up in the air and just goes, like, all frustrated. He's like, in 18 years this company has existed, we've only sold one of them. Nobody wants these things. Nobody wants them. It's like, I do. Please give me one. And they gave me one. I took it home immediately, started writing with it. And it became more and more a part of what I do, to the point that I was using fretless so much that, and I would use it in the same song where I would be switching back and forth, that I really needed something where I could access both quickly. And I thought about retractable frets, thought about a flippable dual-sided neck that's fretless on the other side, like all kinds of ideas. And this just seemed the most practical to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, with it, I can even play on two necks at once if I need to. And it's just, there are less limitations with it. I can have two different tunings, which I do a lot. I have this one drop D and this one down low. And yeah, so started making these in 2009. And this is my weapon of choice. This is my everything guitar.
I love it. And see, you know, if I knew about that when I was playing guitar as a teenager, I think I might have kept playing, because that was the biggest problem I always had. The frets always got in the way. I was clumsy with the frets. And then, you know, you would have that terrible sound when you're not having your fingers positioned right.
With this thing, it's more like playing slide. Now, when
you
know, people are playing slide, you have this.
Right.
And if you have a different tuning, then you can maybe get some more stuff out of it. Let's see. But with the fretless, not in tune, you can do all the same stuff, but you don't have to stay like this, with just one finger moving that way. Yeah.
Wow. You know what I just thought of watching that is, like, why don't all these blues lap slide guitar players play fretless?
They should. I guess they don't need to because they got their thing down, but it would be great to see. And even on this new album, I dabble in that a little bit. Songs like Moonshine Hootenanny, things like that. Little bit of that. That whole... Yeah.
I also love that the first song on Bumblefoot Returns is 8 minutes and 26 seconds.
Break the rules.
In 2024, 2025, I love it, man.
Hell yeah.
I do find that some bands are going back to that. You know, it's like songs now it's so weird. Some of my favorite songs as a teenager would never even survive today because the intro was longer than most people will listen to a track on Spotify.
Yeah.
You know?
But one thing about rock music, metal music, is that we love bands and we love albums.
Mm.
Yeah, where we tend to have, I think, a longer attention span.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, so you have also some cool guests on the album with you. Let's talk about each one. Tell us what made you pick them for those particular songs.
I think the songs picked them. Really, that's kind of how it went. Like, let's see, Guthrie Govan. I was in a guitar magazine in August 1989, and I got a letter in the mail from this kid. I was a teenager, and from another teenager. Is like, "Hi, my name is Guthrie. I live in the UK. I'm a guitar player too. Here, check out my demo." And sent a cassette. And we became pen pals, and we would write each other letters just talking about guitar stuff and sending each other cassettes of our demos and little song ideas, and we would write out the riffs that we're doing. It's like, here's what I did here. I put this finger over here and this one out like this and this like that. And for years, we've been friends since 1989. Wow. So the one song that he is on, that one, well, I was a guest on one of his songs called Rhode Island Shred on his first solo album he put out back in 2006. I had this one riff from 1989 that I never did anything with. And it was always just lingering in the back of my head somewhere. And when I started working on this album, it was 2020. We had a lot of time on our hands. I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me make another all instrumental album. And the first thing I did is I grabbed that riff and said, let me turn this into a song finally after how long? And it was that riff that went. So I took that riff and just expanded on it and turned it into a whole song, built it up. And I was like, well, that riff was right around the same time that I met Guthrie. And I'm picturing the solo section where there's like trade-offs of something, like different rounds of it happening. So he would be perfect for it. It's like that moment in time that he was a part of and this riff was a part of and this song was a part of. Let's finish it off the way it started. And so he laid down solos in that. We traded back and forth in that song. The Brian May song. Now that one, I just had this song and I wrote it, and at the end of it, when there were the sections where solos could go, and I'm sitting back and hearing what this song has become. And I was like, this song is just crying out, it's begging, it's pleading for Brian May, like his spirit, his sound, what he brings to music. Like this song would not be complete. It would not be all it could be if he wasn't on there. It was like the song became this song, and it was just like, this is a match for him. Let me ask him. And he threw down a solo. The song The Thread, I want to mention that before I mention the Steve Vai song. The Thread, I started writing a song. There was an email thread that I've been part of for like 10 years where a bunch of guitar friends were all on it. We just talk about random shit, whatever. Almost every day we're talking. And nice. Pretty much sometimes, 10 times a day, just all talking about whatever, random things. And I was writing this song, and I knew like the melody just it seemed too familiar. It's like, I know I stole this from somewhere and I don't know where. I can't place it. I couldn't have come up with this melody. It's something else and I don't know what. So I asked them, I was like, check this out. What is this? What did I steal this from? And most of the guys are like, oh, no. I mean, it sounds kind of, like it's been done before, but it's not, I don't hear anything exactly. And then someone on the thread said, oh, wait a minute. That kind of where the chords go and the way it ends, the last couple of notes of each phrase of it, that's a Gary Moore song.
Huh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, shit, it is. That's what it is. So, okay. It was the one, Parisian Walkways, where he did his kind of version of that. And so back to the drawing board, I changed the chords, I changed the melody and restructured it and came up with something new. And then I showed it to my thread mates and said, what do you think of this? Is this, and they're like, oh, perfect. It sounds more like you, and it hasn't been heard before. It's different. It's definitely, that works. But when that first break comes, like you're jumping right into crazy shit, pace it, maybe do something else there and then go to that crazy riff. And so really that song was guided by my thread mates to become what it became. So I named it after him. I called it The Thread, which is what we call it, The Thread.
Nice.
And Steve Vai is on the thread. So when I was making the song Monstruoso, and I'm picturing all these songs, I'm picturing all kinds of stuff in my head. Like it's almost like I'm writing soundtracks to things that I'm either experiencing or just feeling, seeing, whatever it is. So I was picturing like the old 60s, 70s Japanese horror movies, the monster movies, the old Godzilla movies, Rodan, Mothra, all of them. And just the sound of like that dubstep growling keyboard making all those noises, Monstruoso. And that's the name of that monster, Monstruoso. And then after it like breaks down and it goes into that whole kind of clean middle thing, and then suddenly kicks back in out of nowhere, bang. I needed, it was calling for something alien-like, sounds that a guitar does not make. And I was like, there's only one guy that can do that.
Yeah.
Make sounds that a guitar cannot make. And so I asked Steve, I was like, you want to throw down? And he's like, yeah. So he threw down the solo. So it's almost like after the songs became what they were.
Yeah.
That's when it was like, all right, there is a match for these songs that I didn't want a lot of guests or anything. I kept it down to a minimum. All these songs that seemed like they could really use that cherry on top that only that person can give. Something I can't give that only they could in that way. So I asked, and they did it. Yeah. So
something that you gave in one of the songs, I can't remember which one it was, but it was so funny because my brother and I last night literally were just talking about Frampton performing on the Rock Hall of Fame and how he was like, he was so happy because he did the like mouth harp. And there was one part of the song, and I'm sure that you're using your fretless guitar, that immediately when I heard it, I was like, wow, he's doing it on the guitar.
The Greekstown Crossing thing.
That's it.
What was that riff? That was it. Yeah, and I was using a talk box, the thing where you have that tube to a microphone.
Yeah.
And you put the guitar into it. It has a speaker that just is all encapsulated except for the tube. So all the sound gets pushed through the tube into your mouth where it resonates in your mouth and the microphone picks it up. So that's what that is, the talk box.
Nice.
All the great stuff, everything from wow, Living on a Prayer to Joe Walsh to, of course, Frampton. Feel like I do. Everything. So it was that kind of song. And that's the one person that didn't do it is when I made that song, that's what I imagined for that song was either like Frampton or Joe Walsh.
Wow.
And I did reach out to Joe Walsh and asked him if he would lay something down, and he heard the song and he said that he felt like the song was already done. It didn't need him.
Wow. Well, that's a huge compliment, right?
I was like, well, actually, like this solo section, that's for you. But I was like, once someone says no, I'm not going to try and change their mind. I'm not going to do that. If he wasn't doing it, then I'm not going to come back and say, well, no, it's not done. You need to, it's just like, thank you for listening,
Yeah.
And then I did something that I pictured them doing, Frampton or Walsh, that kind of thing. And that's what I did. I did the talk box with the fretless.
Wow.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And so the album drops on the 24th of this month, January 24th. Very cool. Where do you recommend people go to get the album when it drops? Or can they pre-save it now or something like that?
There are plenty of options. First, you go to bumblefoot.com and you can get vinyl, which I wanted it to have a ton of art. What I loved about vinyl as a kid is just all the things, whether it was a spinning wheel of Zep 3 or like anything that just, it was art. It was something you held in your hands and it was interesting.
Yeah.
So what I did is it's 2 discs, gatefold, art, sleeves, full images, artwork on both sides of both sleeves. But the second disc is a UV art pressing. It has artwork on the fourth side, and it's clear. So it's like a clear whitish disc with artwork on the fourth side.
Nice.
So it has like the spaceship and all the different things from the album art on there. So as you're listening to side 3, you're seeing the art from side 4 and the ship spinning and moving and everything on it. And if you just put on side 4, you have the artwork directly there and all of that. For the CD, it opens up, same thing. You have in this pocket CD, and in this one is a booklet, but it's not stapled. It unfolds into like a big square. So you have the big art there too. Nice. On one side, another picture on the other side. And then you have this thing where, I haven't opened this yet, but it unravels into like a big long strip of artwork on both sides.
Wow.
Yeah, like this is what we loved about physical stuff. I'm not going to cheap out on that.
I always say the kids today, they're missing out, man. Listen,
those kids, yeah.
I can't believe we've gotten to this point to say that too, but like the artwork back then is how you decided to buy an album or a cassette, because you couldn't hear it. Most of the bands I like didn't play on the radio. Uh-oh.
I'm back.
Yeah, most of the stuff, they didn't play it on the radio that I listened to, so you just had to take a shot, and usually took a shot by, you looked at an album cover and like, wow, that looks cool.
We browsed the record store, we saw an Iron Maiden album, it was like, this looks badass. You take it home and you're glad you got it. And then you go back and you get the rest of it.
I would sit there with my headphones on and listen to the whole album like over and over again with all the artwork, the lyrics, look at everything. It's like a full sensory experience, not this, I'll listen a few seconds. Okay, next, So I think you miss out on so much.
That's the thing. That's one thing that I wanted to do with this release is I wanted it to be more for the senses, more of an experience than just putting something on Shitify, So, I mean, it's on there too. It's on anywhere you want to stream. You can download it too. There's on Bandcamp and all of that. But my first album was on cassette 30 years ago. I was like, fuck it. I'm putting this out on cassette.
Hey, listen.
For the people that still collect these, or someone that just wants an interesting old retro merch item, cassette, why the fuck not?
I have a retro phonograph here that has not only for albums, but for cassettes and CDs.
Nice. And does it have 8-track?
I wish, man.
Right?
Listen, I used to listen to Blizzard of Oz on 8-track, and you would have to, first of all, you'd have to take the little matchbook and put it underneath, or else it was really slow. And then Mr. Crowley would like fade out in the second track and then fade back in the third track. Oh, man.
I had 2 albums on 8-track that I would listen to until they snapped. One was Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell, and the other one, they were the opening band for Kiss on the 79 Dynasty Tour, a band called New England. This album, this band was so fucking good. Everybody should go back and check them out. And so after seeing Kiss at Madison Square Garden, 79, 9 years old, next day immediately ran to the record store and got New England's album. They didn't have it on vinyl. I was so bummed. All they had it on was 8-track. I couldn't wait another day. I had to have it. Wow. So I got it on 8-track. And I listened to that thing to death. Yeah.
So my first album I ever owned myself in my life, not ones that I stole from my brothers, because that was my introduction to music, because my one brother was 11 years older than me. So that's how I learned about stuff like Mountain and Cream and all those 60s bands. And then I was at Seaside Heights.
Sleeside.
Yeah. And I can't remember how old. I don't know how old I was. I'd have to do the math at this point. But I played one of the Carney games and won. And the reason I played the game is I saw you could win albums. And so I played it, and there was one, speaking of like the album cover artwork, there was one album that stood out to me just because, wow, those dudes look cool. And it was the original Kiss album when it first came out. That was my first record album. I won it at the boardwalk at a Carney game.
That is so cool.
Right?
So, Seaside, where are you? You're a Jerseyite?
I am, but I'm in Florida now.
Okay.
But so check this out. I was originally in Jersey till 1980. My father moved me to California, and that was what, it was so weird because that's what introduced me to the real like underground metal, because, you know, I was 13 years old hanging out at the Sunset Strip, like walking into the Rainbow with Motley Crue to hang out with Lemmy, you know, at 13 and shit, you know. And I went to the first Metallica show ever in the LA area, like the first public show ever.
That is so cool.
And then I moved back to Jersey for college, and I was manager of this store on Route 9 in Old Bridge, Harrow's, and I was going to Rutgers. And so like the Wendy's I used to go to for lunch, Bon Jovi used to walk in there. But then there was this whole scene in Old Bridge, the Old Bridge Militia.
Yeah, I was about to say, we definitely.
So I was at both scenes.
So, you know, like Mark Tornillo and all the TT Quick dudes and Prophet and Edgar Casey and like that whole crew and Trickster and yeah.
Yeah. And then in LA, you know, it was funny too, because in LA when Metallica left and then Slayer left, like me and my bro used to hitchhike up to the Bay Area to go to the real metal shows. We thought they were real in LA till we got to the Bay Area. And it was like, oh my God, this is like, went to an Exodus show when Kirk was still in the band. And it was like, oh my God, this is insane. And it's so funny because when Slayer first got up there, they were like Exodus and the other bands, Possessed and all that. They're like, yeah, we don't do that up here. You need to take that eye makeup off. Because in the beginning, they used to have the dark eyeliner to look evil. But they're like, no, that don't play up here. And that, and you hear like Slayer talk about to this day about how they had to take their eye makeup off, you know. And but they had nobody to play with anymore in LA, you know. That I saw Stryper open for Slayer. It was the funniest shit ever, you know.
The mix. Wow.
Yeah, it's like because there was nobody else these bands could play with. And then Motley Crue, they were the first club show I ever went to in my life. You know, like you talk about Madison Square Garden. I saw Beatlemania at Madison Square Garden. I never got to see Kiss there when I was a kid. I saw them there as an adult. I was so bummed. I always wanted to go, but never did. But yeah, I mean, like it's so funny because I have both the East Coast, the West Coast version of everything that happened. And I always laugh when people from Jersey say, yeah, Metallica's from Jersey. And I'm like, yeah, after they were from the Bay Area, after they were from LA.
Metallica is not from Jersey. Who says Metallica is from Jersey?
Oh, a lot of the Old Bridge Militia people, not the people that are the big people, like the people that weren't that much in the scene. They all I see them at festivals and they're like, yeah, I remember when I saw Metallica because they were originally from Jersey, and that's what they say. And I'm like, because they did. If you watch. There's a documentary. I did an interview, and if you check out this documentary, it's called The Jersey Sound, if you haven't seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So in there, it even talks about that. It talks about that, like Metallica was from the Bay Area, but they were also from Jersey only because Johnny Z, you know, is the only one that can get him a record deal.
I used to go to Rock and Roll Heaven as a kid. That's where I would get all my stuff, like everything.
Right. Now, see, how's this? me and my friends used to go in the valley to this record store called Oz Records. Okay. And there was a store clerk there that we became friendly with, and we would go in and he would recommend all these bands. So it's, oh, you got to check out this album. First one he showed me was Venom, Welcome to Hell, you know, and then he's showing us Metallica, and he's showing us, you know, Bitch, and he's showing us like all these LA local bands. He was Brian Slagle.
No way.
Yeah, so I went up to him a few years ago, I'm like, that was the most brilliant marketing move ever, because he just started the label while he was a record clerk at Oz Records. And he's like, yeah, I don't think it was brilliant. I was just a record store clerk. Like, he was totally honest about it. But it was like, look at what he built that, you know, you never had. Like, where could metal get signed on if it weren't for those two people, Brian Slagle and Johnny?
Blade, Megaforce.
Yeah.
I remember Johnny Z, the first albums he recommended to me, he did Anvil, Metal on Metal. He had all these Australian imports of AC/DC. So I would get these like weird AC/DC albums that I would just collect. And what else? Angel Witch. That was good. What else?
You know what band is playing that hasn't played in 28 years in festivals that I cover this year? Acid Bath. You remember that name? That goes way, that's like 28 years ago. It's like around the time when your first one was, your debut was.
Huh.
So you're kind of like in line there. So many cool memories, and look at where we are today. You know? And it's like, it's great that you can come back, make an album like this, and I think it's just as prevalent today as it was when you did the debut.
Cool, I thank you. So one more thing I'm going to show you. We were supposed to release a video game with everything also, and then at the last minute, Apple flagged it and for additional review and held it up. So we're waiting until they give the okay so that it could be out there for everybody. But we made a Simon in Space. When I say we, I mean this guy named Radek Grabinski of Gloomyware Software in Poland, who has done all of this stuff. But check this out. Let me give this, if I could give this a flip. Will it flip? Is there a way to flip? Or I'm just going to turn it this way, see if this will work.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. So it's another way to experience the album, the songs, the music is... There's the little spaceship guy from the thing, and it plays the songs, it plays the music, and it's like an old retro.
It looks like asteroids.
Yeah, it's like one of those old space shooter games from. Yeah. Then this thing starts shooting at you. Good. Get the coin, and this one, you motherfucker. Hang on. Yeah, get your coin now. These guys, all right, get them, and they're shooting back. All right.
Oh, I want that when it comes out. I'm a gamer, so I definitely want that when it comes out.
Yeah. So this thing is a free game that we're putting out there just for fun, just so people can enjoy. I want people to have fun with this shit. You know, it's like I want to have vinyl that's full of art. We have the technology now to make a video game that goes along with it. So put that out and just have it be an enjoyable experience for people as many ways as possible. So it's not just the thing of, oh, yeah, just put out a piece of music, like I shit it out. No, right. I want it to be like, remember when he put out that album and it did this and this and this and this? Like, let it be an experience the way it used to be.
Yeah, if I was a teenager now in those times, like, I would totally get this stuff because of all that. Like, I wouldn't even have to know what it sounded like yet. And you usually didn't. So, but it usually came out okay, you know? So that's what counts. And, well, can you tell everybody how they can also reach out to you on the web, on socials, on your merch store? Because you have a killer merch store.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a good friend of mine, Jason Leckberg. He made that happen. He's got this company, and he works with a lot of bands. He works with Guar, he works with Steel Panther, and he does great stuff. He got me organized and functional and made that web store and the website and everything. So yes, bumblefoot.com. So there's all this stuff and merch bundles, and I did a discography section. It took weeks where I took everything I could recall ever playing on and made a list of like all the guest appearances with links to everybody's music.
Wow.
And all the albums and all the video games and all the TV shows and the horror movies and whatever it is. So a really good discography section, a lot of music and other people's music to check out. Like the produced by section has a lot of interesting artists on there. Yeah, you got all the merch there. Now Deco Records, Deco Entertainment, teamed up with them where they're going to handle all the physical retail stuff. So if you go to Newberry Comics or Amoeba and you say, hey, do you have the Bumblefoot vinyl? They can say, no, but I can get it for you. And thanks to Deco, it's going to be available.
I love it.
And they are, I think they have a partnership with Cargo Records in the UK. So people in the UK and Europe should be able to get it from them. So that's pretty much it. Go to bumblefoot.com, go to decoentertainment.com, and you can get a whole lot of Bumble stuff. Yeah.
Nice. It is. I went there and it's like, wow, there is a lot of cool stuff there.
Pet balls.
And that's the way you have to support artists nowadays, okay? It's not like the old days, buy their merch. If they don't buy your merch, they can't watch my show.
Well, yeah, it's true. Like these days, it is a direct relationship, artists and fans. Yeah. And the artists, they make the music. And if the fans value what they're doing and like what they're doing, they're going to give their support.
Absolutely.
And it's this beautiful, just direct symbiotic relationship. It's nice.
Absolutely.
Not a lot of middlemen anymore. Yeah.
There you go. And shouldn't have one ever. And, you're giving us such great therapy, not just music, therapy, that, I think it's just in kind, symbiotic to, support. And it's better off to support directly to the artist.
Very cool.
Well, you rock, literally. This album definitely rocks. Like, it is, to me, it's like one of those albums you could just sit there and listen to and escape all your reality and listen to it over and over again. And it takes you on different journeys. The best way I could describe it, I don't mean sound wise, but that same feeling is like Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Shit. Thank you so much.
Hey, my pleasure. And thank you for making us great music for, a lifetime. Does that blow your mind or what?
Blows my mind that I'm 55 years old now.
I know. I'm 58.
Yeah, we're from the same world. We are.
Right?
But
4 kids,
that
8 grandkids. Like, I have 8 grandkids.
Damn.
I have taken my kids and my grandkids into their first mosh pits ever.
Oh, that is so cool.
Right?
How old were they?
My son, I'm trying to think how old he was. He was probably like 8 or 9.
Yeah, I'm picturing like little kids, little elbows.
We were at Tattoo the Earth tour with Metallica and Slipknot. It was at Giants Stadium. And Slipknot was about to come on. And so I kind of explained to him what was going to happen. Like, we were front and center. And I was like, listen, people are going to start shoving you. Don't get mad. Just go with it. It's not about hurting or maiming anybody. It's just about getting all your crap out and having a good time. And so when they first came on and it first started, I saw he was getting pissed for a second. He was about to like knock somebody out. And I was just like, chill out, relax, just, shove them back. Next thing you know, like 30 seconds later, grin ear to ear. I'm like, the baton has been passed. and then I have a couple of my grandsons that one of them I used to bring to a lot, because I go on tour and I do radio coverage at a lot of festivals, all the Danny Wimmer festivals in the United States. I go to UK, Europe, do Hellfest, Download, Bloodstock, all those. And I would bring them sometimes. And he would actually interview bands with me, or they would interview him. But then I brought him into his first mosh pit. It was August Burns Red. Like, that's pretty heavy duty to go in first time. And he had a blast because all of the adults, and I say this because people have such a misconception of mosh pits.
No, people look out for each other.
Yeah, all the adults were shoving him around like they were protecting him. They were his wall. And they were moshing with him, but like in hit and getting down low with them and at his level, at his, ability, so to speak, or strength. And it's just the experience that you have for a lifetime. My other grandson, he's always now, if I bring him to a show, he's like, can we go up to the front to the pit? So that's some good parenting and grandparenting right there, I think, in my opinion.
Cool grandpa.
Because, listen, we are the coolest crew. People don't know it. They think what they want to think, but we're one big family. Nobody's an outsider. Everybody can just be themselves. There's no bullshit like there is everywhere else in the world. And we take care of each other. And it's just great therapy.
Yeah.
So
well said.
Thank you for being a big part of that, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Hello, everybody. This is Ron BUMBLEFOOT Thal, and you're listening to the Pipeman on W4CY Radio.